beautiful Tuesday morning here in Nairobi. Good morning from wherever you are joining us from. This is Family Matters Parenting Tuesday, and today we are going to have a very, very interesting topic on parenting, and it is about co-parenting. We've done single parenting, we've done, the normal parents, both parents are there, but today we are going to discuss about co-parenting, an interesting topic, I know. And if you're out there and probably you have some questions, you want just to learn how people are navigating this journey, it could be easy, it could be hard, you could be having some challenges, please tune in and talk to me on 20316 0786 316 316 just to be looped into the conversation. Back to my guests, I have Mr. Ravi and Naomi in studio with me. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
Mr. Ravi, please introduce yourself to our audience.
My name is Ravi Singh, and I have been co-parenting for close to about 5 years now. And I'm a single father of a 9-year-old daughter.
Yeah, you add beautiful, because I've seen her.
Yeah.
Naomi.
Hi, my name is Naomi Kachuki, and I'm mother of 3.
Okay.
And I've been co-parenting for now 2 years and 3 months.
Oh, fantastic. You guys, congratulations, you're doing a good job. Ravi, let me start with you. How was it like when you started co-parenting the first time, probably almost immediately after the separation?
There's in about November, there's an Indian festival called Diwali, where you have fireworks and display.
Yeah.
So it was something like that for me, where there were a lot of fireworks, there were a lot of clashes,
Okay.
there were a lot of disagreements, I would say, and I'm using very diplomatic words here. It was tough. It was tough. And most of it, the toughness was because of our bitterness.
Right.
It had nothing to do with the child, and that's something that happens especially at the beginning of the co-parenting relationship, that there's a certain power dynamics, but there's also sometimes children get in the way of the challenges that parents have.
Right.
So it was more of I think, a difficult phase, very emotionally charged.
Okay.
But once we realized that the child is also getting affected in this mix, we had to come to a place of sobriety,
Right.
where the child interest came first, before we could say like, okay, this is your fault, because at that time it's more of a blame game. You're looking for any opportunity to get back at the other spouse.
Yeah.
But I think that was more of our differences, but nothing, the child was just an excuse that was there, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so it was a charged kind of, environment and all that at the beginning. Naomi, how was it like for you?
Okay, for me, at the beginning, I think I was already set that I would be the only one, but now the other side, the father was not prepared that he will miss them. So we did not agree on what to do with the children.
Okay.
Because the first thing, you just want to have your peace. Because for the first 3 months, I was focusing on healing. So I did not even think whether the children will need co-parenting. So I just focused on myself. And then maybe severally, like 2 times when they asked, I sent them to the
But was it like Ravi has said, his was, there was anger, there was bitterness, there was blame game, there was power, was it like that for you?
Okay, for me at the beginning when I left, I blocked communication. Blocked.
So you didn't go through that?
So I did not go through any communication on whether to co-parent or how will we handle children or what will we do from there.
Okay.
So there was no any discussion. So I just left and blocked communication. So the co-parenting, that is the children went to see their father when they asked.
Okay.
So that's when because my children are, I would say the firstborn is a teenager.
Okay.
So he can manage to take them without me.
All right. Okay.
So that one was not a big issue.
Okay, that brings me then to my next question. Then it
Yeah.
will go to Mr. Ravi. Like, you know, so how do you maintain an open and effective communication for the sake of the little girl?
I think first and foremost, you have to understand and accept that the child comes first before anything else.
Yeah.
That his or her interest is paramount.
Okay.
And what Naomi also mentioned about, you also have to take that initiative of healing.
Okay.
Because if you don't heal, you cannot effectively co-parent.
Yeah.
There will be triggers in the
Yeah.
relationship. There will always be, even when you're together, you can have different styles of parenting.
Right.
So you have to come to a point of, I would say, a relationship sobriety, civility,
Yeah.
and understanding that it's not about me, it's about the kid,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
However, that being said, there are certain interventions that you can do. One, I think when you separate, when you have the bitterness, you're trying to blame game. So
Yeah.
forget about that and have a respectful conversation,
Okay.
right? Also, parenting styles might be different. So that is something that you need to be
To talk about.
to
Yeah.
agree upon.
Okay.
There are some times where you also have to understand what is coming from the other parent
Yeah.
and listen and see if that might be the better option for the kid. At some point of time, you need to have a balance between both parenting style.
Right.
You also need to have flexibility. Like in my case, sometimes if I am busy or I have to travel when I'm hosting the kid, the other parent is flexible, and it's the same vice versa when she's traveling or she cannot take care of the kid because of certain responsibilities, then I'm there to step in.
Okay.
So and probably also defining your boundaries as well,
Okay.
so that no one feels that they're doing so much and the other person is just putting the minimum effort. You know?
Okay. All right.
And of course, also have a good, I would say, a good support structure, a wise support
system.
structure,
Yeah.
which can guide you, because parenting is a job where you're learning every day.
It is a journey.
Yeah, it is a journey. So you need that support, you need that wisdom, and especially if you're a single parent.
Yeah.
And probably I can speak as a father. You know, men do not have that rich support system as a mother.
Yeah.
So sometimes it becomes difficult. Like my friend circle, my family circle has changed, because for me, even when I'm going out, my child comes in first.
Yeah.
And I have to see whether she would be comfortable in that space or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
And really, I want to concur with you, just to let my viewers and listeners know that indeed she comes first. She's actually here with us in studio, waiting for the daddy, giving him all the support, and it's a beautiful thing, Mr. Ravi. And you've talked about listening, active listening. I think I had that in your, when you're giving us that response. Naomi, you said immediately that happened, you just blocked everything. You didn't think there was need for you to just probably have that conversation, because there are children here. Listen to this person. Let the person listen to you. You know what led you to just
interesting. Okay, I think when we talk about co-parenting, I usually define it not when the parents are separate, because you're supposed to co-parent even when you are together. So if you are not able to co-parent, like you are not able to share, because co-parenting is sharing
responsibilities.
Yeah, if you are not sharing responsibilities when you are together, so you don't expect when you separate to share.
Yeah.
So I don't think. So the reason why I blocked conversation
was from the background.
From the background, there was no co-parenting when we were together. So when moving away, I did not expect
things to be any better.
I did not expect any conversation that would will be fruitful.
Okay.
Like we cannot agree. We would not have agreed. We will do this and this and this.
Okay, I hear you.
So that's why I blocked.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Ravi, you spoke about, you know, as a father, the kind of support that men get out there is not the same as mothers and women get. So, has the extended family played any role in this, the co-parenting from your side?
Extended family on my side?
On your side, because when you feel overwhelmed and probably you have the child today, for example, and you need to do something, probably you need to rush somewhere, and a child is not even, can't go there, how do you handle such situations?
Well, for me, the case is slightly unique because I would say most of my family is overseas. So it's a different dynamics. However, they're friends who have become like family to me. And I'm grateful and thankful for their support and their wisdom. And even through community setup and the religious fraternity, there are some of the groups that I'm part of. They have been a good support structure for me as well as for my daughter as well. So that has been helpful, and internet is always there to give you guidance, you know. But I think what has also helped me is having a lot of communication with my daughter. The good thing is she's pretty responsive, and she loves to have that conversation. And I just want to add something to it. Was this did not come about just by me talking to her or whatever. There were a time where both of us, we felt that this girl has gone quiet. And she has always been a talkative girl right from her childhood. And we had to engage a child counselor because we didn't want to shut her down her feelings. So that, as an intervention early on, also helped to cope with certain dynamics which were coming.
How long did that happen? After how long of the separation? At what point?
I would say about 1.5 years after, because she was pretty small when that happened. She was pretty young. And at that time, to be able to communicate was a challenge, and it happened during the time of Corona. So when she was with the mother, she could not understand why she could not meet her father. And you know the age-old saying that the daughters are close to their fathers. So a couple of times that I did meet her, I could not take her with me, and she could not understand, and she would cry. And that over a period of time, because she was not understanding that concept, she kind of metamorphosized into a silent person, which is not her nature. So yeah, we had to engage. And it's not a fault. I'm not saying that there's a fault of my ex or me. It's just how when children are young and you have a good parenting relationship in terms of going with the kids when you're together, it's bound to affect when you start missing and you cannot explain the child why you cannot meet the other parent.
Okay, all right, wow. Naomi, your children, how has it been like for them as well? Because, you know, children, like Ravi is saying, they need both parents. How are they like? Did they just go into a shell? Did they become introverts? Did something change in them?
You see, mine, I think I call them like different generations. So I have the first one who was fed up with the abuse, and he was okay. He was like, moving away was...
Physical?
Yeah. Moving away was also therapy for him. And then I have the littlest who doesn't know why dad is not there. So, and then there is the one in the middle who
child.
Did not see anything, but just so we moved. So their reactions were different. Because the first one would even see a call and refuse to pick it. And And then the leaderess, that is the smallest, is the one who would always say, give me my phone, I want to talk to my daddy. So they're
in different stages.
In different stages,
differently.
and they reacted differently.
Okay.
But this second boy, there was a time he shut down. Even he would come and ask whether he can move out of school. Like, he's not comfortable again with the same friends he has been sharing. So one day he came home and asked, can I move? Can you take me to a public school? He now wants a public school so that he cannot talk to the friends who have been asking, what did your daddy do yesterday?
Questions.
Yeah. But now with time, I talked to the head teacher of the school, with a male teacher, and he talked to him, and now he changed. He started adapting, but with time, all of them, I think, they
just got used to it.
They got used to.
Yeah. And I think both of you are actually talking about therapy. Therapy is important. You say you talk to a head teacher and talk to the child. Ravi actually had to go to a child therapy, so it is important, you know, for therapy.
Right.
You both agree on that. Ravi, when it comes to the strategies, or even strategies that you used to just parent this little girl, or the parenting style, how is it like for the two of you as parents?
I think I'm also thankful for understanding X, because I've heard a lot of stories out there where it becomes very difficult and tricky. So I want to recognize that. I'm thankful for that, it didn't metamorphosize into that kind of situation. I think, as I said before, one of the things is, one, you need to understand and accept that it's not you first, it's the child when it comes to co-parenting. Secondly, it's also about establishing clear boundaries and working out a structure that the kid would be with me or with you during this period. What are the financial arrangements? What are the medical arrangements, for example? Also having some, I would not say too much, but okay, I'm talking about personally my case, I cannot say about others, but some conversations at particular intervals, so that you know what's going on, not from a point of allowing the flexibility that what happens in that house is a prerogative of the parent in that house, what happens in this house, but there is some commonality. So for example, like in my case, when my daughter comes to my place over the weekends, you know, there are issues of homework, there are issues of discipline. Maybe she did something which she was disciplined for, or her screen time was taken off. But when she comes here, she thinks Dad doesn't know about it, so I can watch whatever I want to. So I need to have that conversation so that I enforce that continuing discipline, that actually, you know, you did this wrong, so there is this consequence to that. So just because I don't know doesn't mean you get away with it. So there's some level of communication that needs to happen. Boundaries, yes. And I think it takes a lot of grace and also understanding, because you cannot understand all of it that might be happening. And sometimes it's our different kind of stress which gets taken out on the child. You know, and in a usual setup, it would happen like if the child is annoyed with the mother, he or she will run to the father or the other place. But that family unit has been taken away. So there's nowhere for that child to run to, right? And most of the times what will happen is you're busy making a living, so you're leaving the child with the nanny. And the nanny is not equipped to that parenting style or standards that you want for your child, or you are the ones who are executing it. So, and that's where I think the flexibility, the understanding, the grace, and even asking questions from people who have gone through that journey to seek advice, to seek wisdom. I think that personally for me has helped.
Okay.
But also I think I would like to accept that it's also a lot of grace of God as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Amen. Okay. Naomi, you know, in yours, actually we have two different situations here.
Yeah.
Yours has been a bit strained.
Yeah.
You've struggled, and I'm sure there are parents co-parenting out there, and they're probably going through the same thing as you are. What would be your advice to such parents who are struggling in co-parenting? A mommy like you out there who's just like, this guy is not, you know, cooperating, he's not co-parenting. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I usually meet a lot, many people.
Yeah.
And my advice is, I think you first choose you. There is one statement I usually say, because most of the time we get lost finding, you're looking for situations, solutions for other things, and you lose yourself. So I usually, there was a time I was used to the slogan, I was me first. Yeah. I would tell my children, I was me first. Before I became your mother, I was me. Before I became a friend, I was me. So if I lose me, I will not be the mother you want. So maybe that is what has helped me to work on me. So I usually look at three things: spiritually, mentally, physically. Okay. So if you want to be the mother, because most of the people they want to be the best version of themselves, but they don't know how to be because they are stranded on the things around them. So I choose to work on the inside of me. Okay. So I'll take my time. I usually plan my time. Okay. Plan my time, have my spiritual, if it's my prayer time, it's this time. I will not use my prayer time for any other thing. If I decide I'll do a course, this is December, I'll do a course. You see, most of the time when you tell women that I'm doing something, they usually think you have money. There are free courses, you can learn something new.
Just to keep yourself engaged.
You set a target and then you can. When you tell people to exercise, they think about paying the gym. Yeah. Even I don't remember the last time I went for gym was 2018. But I usually work out every evening. You can walk around with the children. So once you realize you are working on you, because most of the time most people are angry because they are not making progress. Okay. But the little progress you make when you go around. The physical progress, the spiritual progress, once you learn something new, that one will help you to deal with you as a mother, with the children, because right now you are the only one, like you are the parent and you cannot be the father. I don't try to change people. Like if I want to try to change him to be what I want, I will lose me. Okay. So I'll create my environment. I usually tell my children, you will be peaceful in this environment because I'm the one who created this atmosphere. So I'll create this atmosphere for you. And then there was a time I was thinking, what about people are discussing, there is a parenting group, we usually discuss on how to handle them. Okay. And someone came up with, you have boys, where do you get a father figure? So there was a time I was thinking, once I create my environment, the friends I'll create, I'll be able to attract friends who can. I don't have to tell my son this will be your mentor, but once I engage with the right people, he'll be able to choose. Yeah. Because I was thinking that day I took time and thought I was brought up by the two parents, but right now my mother is there, but I have several women I can point out, this one I learned from this mama, this one I learned from this, because of the environment, the friends my mom had. So if I have that same environment, they'll be able to pick, like I can talk to so-and-so, to so-and-so, because I've already created the atmosphere. Okay. So I would advise someone, like you work on you, you become you so that you attract the right people. Okay. Once you attract the right people, the children will have the peaceful space, even to pick mentors. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Ravi, when you look back at, you know, your daughter, is there a time that probably she expressed frustration or disappointments in the co-parenting business between you and the mom, and she was just frustrated?
Yes. She was a bit young, so she could not express it clearly,
Right.
but her behavior, her mannerisms changed. Was like there was a lot of anger, and I could understand that that anger is coming from a point of not being able to understand what's happening.
What's going on? Yeah.
And that's the time when we did seek therapy. But remember, we are talking about Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They are not like so docile as we were,
Yeah.
where you got the eye and you knew what to
that
do.
says.
You
Yeah.
know, so these generation is more expressive, and we do touch upon this because that's a part of growing up.
Yeah.
The one thing that we have maintained is, though we might not be together right now, but we are still your parents,
Yeah.
and when it comes to you, we together will do whatever is needed.
Wow.
So that she has that security, she has that confidence that both my mother and my father, both of them are there for her. So, but yes, definitely, you know, these children observe as well. When you go
They
to
do.
school and you go to parent-teacher conference or sports day, and you see a couple walking in, and then here you are, the mother is coming separately,
Yeah.
the father is coming separately.
Yeah.
They might not express it very candidly, but yes, they do observe and they do see. So it's a kind of a continuous conversation which is age appropriate.
Yeah.
Let me talk about myself,
Yeah.
and to an extent, I'm sure even the mother has it as well. And it's kind of interesting that I have got, or rather, we have overheard her talking to a friend saying, you know, my father does not live together with us. And then the other child is, really? Even me, my father does not live.
Oh.
So it's, I don't know how to put it, but it's not a unique phenomenon. There are so many single families out there. So it's not something like out of the blue that it's only me who's experiencing and no one else is experiencing it. But then, yes, she, in one way or the other, it gets expressed, and we do have a bit of conversation. And there are some conversations that I leave it to the mother, and there are some conversations that I will have, but I will inform the mother that this thing has happened. So just look at it, how you can address it. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you're also friends. You have to be a friend to your child for them to also open up to you
Right.
and just express themselves openly, isn't
Yeah,
it? Because
yeah.
they go also through so many, their friends must be asking questions. Like you're
Right.
saying, you're coming from that corner, the mommy from this corner, say like, you know.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, you know, parents should be friends with their children.
Right.
And I'm going to read one. There's a comment here. Praise God, Sally. Please consider a show about parenting young adults. It's so challenging. Have a blessed day. Thank you for this. Indeed, we're going to have this in our next season. For sure, parenting young adults is not easy. You're not yet there, Ravi, but you're getting there. Naomi, you're...
I'm in pre-teen.
Yeah, you're almost there, yeah. So, yeah. So, Naomi, let's pick it up with you. Now, these children are here, and there's kind of no relationship, quote unquote, with their dad. But what happens when they miss him? How do you cope with that?
Okay. What I have done, I have a phone for them.
Okay.
So they have their own number. I usually top up airtime for them. They know they have the right to call.
Okay.
But there was a time I was feeling like, I have opened the door, but I should be the watchman.
Okay.
Because most of the time they will talk. They have missed him. What they expected when they called him, it's not what they get back. So sometimes the little one will say she wants to make a call, and you'll find the eldest one telling her, "Don't make that call again." So there is a mixture. This one misses him, this one doesn't, because he doesn't want to see her frustrated.
Okay.
Yeah, so they usually...
Is it about someone making promises and not fulfilling them to the children, or what?
Yeah, that is it. Because I think the most frustrating one was telling them to prepare themselves. He's coming for them, and then he failed.
Okay.
So from that time, you'll find them, yes, they miss him because that is normal and natural. But most of the time, when they call, you will find that after that call, there is no satisfaction.
The mood changes.
There is no satisfaction the child expected. Yeah, but I usually allow them to talk as much they want, as much as they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the phone.
Yeah, on phone.
Okay, sawa sawa.
Yeah.
Ravi, for your daughter, she has, you know, two parents who both love her and stuff. What do you think is the biggest gain for her, having two parents who love her, two different homes, you know?
I think it's God's design. When a child is born, it's born into a complete family unit of both father and mother. And I'm of the opinion that each individual in this relationship has their part to play.
Yeah.
Yes, circumstances do happen where there's a disconnect, and maybe one is lacking over the other, but I think God's design was to give a complete family unit to the child. And the fact that a family unit was taken out of her life, a complete family unit, was not her fault.
Yeah.
So we have to endeavor to overcome our differences and provide the best for the child.
Okay.
So I think for a child, my personal opinion is both the parents play a part in his or her upbringing, and especially for my daughter. There are some things she will discuss with me that probably she might not discuss with the mother. There are some things she will discuss with the mother, which she might not with me. So it's that security, that safety net that you need to give, and even how God ordained the family unit. You know, there was a certain things which were part of a man as a leader of the house, and there is certain aspect, a woman who's a nurturer, who's taking care of the household and children, and have probably better EQ, you know, in terms of understanding and hearing the subtext rather than what is just being said. So I think we play complementary roles over there, and we are not perfect. We try as much as we can. Living in two different houses has its own advantages, but at the same time there are some gaps as well. But we have to accept the reality and make the best out of it.
Sounds very cordial to me. Okay, nice. We had spoken about, Naomi, you talked about the extended family.
Yeah.
And, you know, for Ravi, he doesn't have a lot, but he has the support of friends.
Yeah.
And for you, how is it like? Because the extended family, you know, for you, especially from his side, are around.
Yeah.
Do they support you in any way? You know, just to, with the kids, probably visiting, guidance, mentorship. Do they do that?
Okay. The extended family, I would say, for my side, they are very supportive.
Okay.
Actually, they are my support system. I've heard Ravi repeat again and again that women have a support system, and I would say my family were the first support system. Because, for example, my son did study last year, so I needed a man for the transition, for the initiation period.
Okay.
So my brother came in, and he took that role. So that is something I could not have done. And then throughout the first year after moving out, my sister came to live with us. and then she came with her son, who was accompanied for this little one.
Okay.
So I think my extended family has been my support system.
Okay.
But you asked the other side. his
Both,
side.
yeah. So that your side is supportive.
So
How
the
about
other side,
yeah.
I even don't think they know the cousins on the other side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they do not have completely no relationship with the extended family on the other side. Maybe one time we visited their grandfather because he was sick, and no any other communication, no any other visit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you, it's like, you know, there's never like you can sit and say, okay, we'll come, we talk, we sit with their father, because it seems it's pretty strained. Okay.
No.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Ravi, out there, when people hear about co-parenting, single parenting, there's so many misconceptions about co-parenting. Have you heard of any, or even stigma?
Yeah, there's some. You know, one of the things that people think that because we are co-parenting, we have to be friends with the other parent. We have to forget and forgive. You know, sometimes forgiving part is easier than forgetting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think as a part of your healing journey, there comes a stage where you have to forgive, otherwise you will never be able to co-parent effectively.
Okay.
So, but you can, what is also referred to as transactional relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you are not meeting you're not meeting the mother of your child for social events.
No.
You're just meeting specifically for child-related issues.
Okay.
So, if you can be friends, that's good.
That's okay.
But it's not a must. Secondly, what I talked about, boundaries and effective communication, you might think you have done your part,
Yeah.
but the other party thinks the other way. You know, they think, no, actually you're falling short, you know. And you're wondering like,
I've given it my best.
yeah,
try.
this is what we agreed upon, this is
Yeah.
and suddenly you find the goalposts are shifting.
Okay.
So, much as you can have an agreement and things like that, and that's where the flexibility part come in.
Okay.
Because it's not a must that whatever you desire and whatever you agree upon will happen.
Okay.
In good cases, it will happen, but there are places, for example, what Naomi was telling, that the ex said, like, you know, be ready, I'm coming to pick you up, and then he doesn't show up.
Yeah.
You know, which creates a complication because now the child is emotionally looking forward to spending time with the father or things like that. So that's also there. There's something like you think that you have reached a good system, a good setup, that this is what we have agreed upon, this is how it will be.
Okay.
But then there can be some other triggers which come in. So I think you have to play by patience.
Okay.
You need to have a certain sense of flexibility. So it's not a linear journey in co-parenting.
Right.
It will have its ups and downs. The time when you think like you have all figured out, you have planned a trip to Mombasa or somewhere, and then you think, so the child is staying with you. But then your ex comes back and say, no, actually, we didn't agree upon it.
Yeah.
You mentioned, and then, but I've already booked the tickets, I've already made my plans.
Yeah.
So it can be complicated at times, but with the grace of God and with understanding and with putting the child needs first, I think you can overcome.
Okay.
You can overcome,
All
but
right.
there are those misconceptions of that you need to be a friend, that once you have structured the parental agreement, that's like cast in stone, there will be no changes. Some challenges come when one of the spouses also start dating.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Right.
How did that go? Yeah.
And you find that either directly or indirectly that they have introduced a child. And the other parent might not be comfortable with that, especially when you do not know whether this is the final person you're going to be associated with, because you want to protect the child. So it's also a misconception that now that you're separated, you can date and you can introduce the child to someone. It's okay. No, it's not okay. So
that was going to be a question that I'd have asked at some point. But maybe just to make it clear, you know, have you gone the legal way, or you just had an agreement as parents that we're going to do this and that, and you amicably agreed?
We chose the amicable way. Because one, it came from point of healing. It also came from a point of understanding the needs of my
well-being
daughter.
Of the child,
because yes, you can go the legal way, but one of the things I've seen, it's, as I said before, you need to be flexible. So legally, it's just a contract, right? And even enforcing that contract can be a challenge sometimes, right? And if you are not well with each other, you cannot effectively co-parent. And sometimes legality brings in that bitterness. Because it feels like, oh, this is my threshold, I'm just going to do this. You take care of that, it's not my responsibility. But as long as the child is yours and is alive, throughout their life, and as long as you are alive, it's your responsibility.
And healing is important. I've heard you say that. Healing is important so that you co-parent well. Naomi, what are some of the ways probably you avoid? Because based on what sometimes he does to the children, you know, you might be tempted to say something negative about him, that guy, and use whatever word. What are some of the ways, or how do you restrain yourself or cope with just not saying anything negative around the children's proximity?
Like some of the ways that I avoid to involve them. I think most of the time they usually know they don't pick his calls around me. So if a call come through, I give them the phone, go away and speak away from me, because I don't want to reason into what you are saying, because I will automatically say something.
But there's a small temptation to know, right?
It's there, just to know.
If I know, let me know afterwards, but reasoning in, I will respond as if I'm the one. But most of the time, I think because I've set my mind, I don't want them to grow up in bitterness. That's what I'm focusing on. Because I usually advise them, you cannot have any other father. And then we do not honor parents because of what they did for us. We honor them because they are our parents. So most of the time, I usually restrain myself from speaking negative. Because there is a seed I want them to grow up with. Because if they grow up with that bitterness, it will be a negative. It will be a negative effect for them, not for him. So most of the time, I'll say I thank God I have learned to focus on whatever I'm doing, whatever I do today is a seed that may bring out a forest. So I actually look at them when they are bitter. I teach them on let go. So that you make your ways prosperous. Because if I allow them to stick there, they might not work, or even in school. They might not even relate well with other people.
Ravi, what are some, and we're winding up, by the way, we are almost wrapping up the show, and probably this will be your final remarks or comments as you answer this question. What are some of the lessons you've learned as an individual in the co-parenting journey, very briefly?
One is, if you are not well, if you're not healed, you cannot co-parent effectively. Second, especially for me, there are situations where I did not know how to react or how to process that information.
Okay.
And prayers have helped me.
Okay.
I think I've become more spiritual and connected with God a lot more after the separation. Thirdly, I would say never forget who's at the center of the focus here.
Correct.
And fourthly, I would say you never know what the other person is experiencing. You know, so extend that grace and kindness to the other person as well. And lastly, it's God chose you to be a parent, so He must have seen something in you. You know, so even though situations might be difficult, try to have as much fun as you can have with your child and give them that confidence that whether you're a mother or whether you're a father, that I'm there for you.
Okay. Thank you very much. In 30 seconds or less, your final remarks.
My final remarks. Maybe I can talk to that bitter woman. I last week I talked to one of my friend. She wanted to pursue child support.
Okay.
But now she is saying, I don't need financial support. I just need emotional support.
Okay.
And I was advising her, you cannot force someone to emotionally be available for the child. And she was very bitter. I know there are very many people who are there. Okay. Like I can go to the legal way for the financial support because that one doesn't involve the child like directly because financially he can pay through school fees through the bank. But when you force the child to be there with the father who is not willing. When I say the father, let me use the parent because most of the time you find it's the single parent, it's a single father, and then the mother doesn't want the child. If you force, it will affect the child.
All right.
So you cannot force emotional support.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you both very much for sharing your story, for your time. You are here in very good time, kept time. Amazing. And just for you to know, you know, my audience, my listeners and viewers, actually from here, Ravi is taking the daughter they have a breakfast date. How cool is that? Wow. So keep it here. Keep on, you know, keep it here on Family Matters. Tomorrow we're going to be on Matters Financial Clinic and we'll be talking about economic policies, the impact of economic policies on the citizens of this country. So make sure you join me tomorrow. And thank you so much for your time. And also a special thanks goes to our donors, people who've been just supporting us in one way or the other, even through prayers, financially, and in any other way. And we want to say a very big thank you. And you feel you're out there, God has just touched you in any way to bless us, to support us, to hold our hands. Please send your contribution to paybill number 316 and the account number will be your telephone number. Or if you want to be part of this community, Family TV, Family Media, just send the name partner to 316 0786 316 316. God bless you and keep you. We'll see you again tomorrow here on Matters Finances. God bless.